Any technician that's installing or servicing automatic equipment needs to be ADAM certified so that we can certify that door that it meets all of the ANSI safety standards.
There is no financial gain just off of selling preventative maintenance.
No.
If you're not the expert in something,
Yeah.
why would you want to take on that risk?
Safety alone should be a reason not to do it. And move the door just a little bit. His hand got stuck in the sprocket and he lost his pinky. They know
The amount of, they know the amount of dollars lost per minute that a dock leveler's not working, a door doesn't open. And he was like, yeah, there's a guy in the warehouse. He's like, no, that door's fine. No, that door's fine. And he was like, man, the spring was broken on one of the doors. It wasn't fine. But,
that's a bad day.
Hello and welcome to ASAP Unfiltered, our second episode. I am Christos, sales manager. Joined with us today, our return guest, Larson Flock, Salesman of the Year 2025. Yay. So today, Larson, we're going to talk a little bit about preventative maintenance in all scopes that we do. With you mainly, pass doors, man doors, auto doors is huge, obviously.
Right.
And I'll talk a little bit about overhead doors, sectionals, rolling steels, high speeds, and loading dock equipment, which is stuff I usually focus on. So, just casual conversation basically about what it is we see out in the field, the challenges, and what the importance of preventative maintenance is.
Right.
So, what are the driving forces for you when you are talking to customers about preventative maintenance on pass doors and auto doors?
So the biggest ones is the high traffic doors. Those are the ones that need the focus. We want to make sure that there's no downtime on those. If something goes wrong with a high traffic door that can impede services flowing through that facility, can cost them money essentially. If people can't get through the door efficiently and safely, then there's a cost implied not only in repairing the door, but the
loss of business,
right?
Let's
Loss
say.
of business.
Yeah, sure.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something we see too on the side of things that I focus on is
overhead would be no different.
Yeah, downtime, especially at your distribution center, loading dock. Some companies, these larger companies, have it down to a mathematical science when it comes to
they know
the amount of they know the amount of dollars lost per minute that a dock leveler is not working, a door doesn't open, a vehicle restraint's not able to safely engage an ICC bar on a truck.
Right.
So knowing what these companies are looking for to be successful, I think is a huge thing for our side of things. And obviously it's kind of a no-brainer, I would imagine, on store entrances and things of that nature
if nobody can get into your store, you can't sell your merchandise or whatever it is that store provides. That's a loss of business right off the gate. So.
Sure. I don't know if, I know one of the challenges that I've always seen, especially with doing man doors and stuff like that, is we've all run into those companies or those, warehouse supervisor types, or we do that in-house.
Yeah.
We do that in-house.
We can handle it.
We handle that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a struggle because I try to wrap my mind around, like, why would you want to?
Right.
If you're not the expert in something, why would you want to take on that risk of damaging something or doing it in today's society? I mean, OSHA is all over you.
Yeah.
I mean, compliance and safety have to be the number one things we talk about.
Yeah, so I would say for the overhead side of things, if they're to handle that themselves, safety alone should be a reason not to do it. Hire a professional.
Yeah, not even just safety of what's going to happen after the fact, right?
Right.
But if you have a non-professional up here trying to rig something up on a door that's 14 feet in the air, springs that are under so much tension, that you have one spring that's holding how many hundreds of pounds, and you just have somebody there who's like, I'm handy.
Yeah.
You get loss of life.
I had a guy just going through a professional, going through his routine of adjusting spring tension on a door, and put his hand in the wrong spot and moved the door just a little bit. His hand got stuck in the sprocket and he lost his pinky.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's if I was a novice, right?
Yeah.
I would be so intimidated to, what's your life worth? What's your safety worth?
Yeah.
You know, to save the company a couple $100 on a service call or something like that. And that's the other thing too is preventative maintenance is a fraction of the cost that a major repair is going to cost you, or a lawsuit.
Yeah, God forbid somebody get hurt, seriously injured, or die. Or
a fine from a safety regulation like OSHA or something like that. So it's one of those things we bring up all the time. It's the cost of ownership. Right, which I think is a huge thing that is important for us to educate customers on, because it's an obvious thing, but it's not something I think people think of off the jump. But preventative maintenance is there to catch big problems before they become big problems.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Paying attention to wear items. Yeah. They're made to sustain usage up to a certain amount of time, and then they're made to easily be changed out without having to replace a whole door. Something like rollers and springs and things like that. And then we talk about loading dock equipment. Forget about it.
That's a whole. That's a whole nother one there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this much: most accidents that happen utilizing loading dock equipment are not. They're not freak accidents. They're not freak occurrences. Yeah. It's unnurtured equipment, misused equipment, carelessness, and a big thing is, especially with dock levelers, right? I would venture to say 70 to 80% of dock levelers that are out there in the world right now are under capacity.
Yeah,
for sure. And being under capacity isn't going to fail the day after you install it or the month after you install it, but after multiple uses, it's going to fail prior to when it should, and that is a catastrophic failure when something like that happens. Yeah, you think about a forklift free falling from standard dock height at 48 inches. With someone in it.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
It's a bad day. Yeah,
and I can imagine on your side of things, especially with your your knowledge and your experience in the auto door world, there are similar concerns when things are not paid attention to properly.
Correct. There's a significant less concern for bodily injury on the entry door side of things, but there's certainly, when it comes to automatics, unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, everybody's looking for a lawsuit. So if the automatic door doesn't work the way that it's intended to, or doesn't follow the ANSI standards and hit somebody, you're potentially liable for that, or the owner of that equipment is potentially liable for that.
Sure.
That's why all automatic any technician that's installing or servicing automatic equipment needs to be ADAM certified, so that we can certify that door that it meets all of the ANSI safety standards, and then we can provide that paperwork to ownership and say, hey, this door works correctly, you're covered.
Right. That's another good point, is being able to provide that documentation to the customer, right? Because there's your fail-safe for liability concerns. Like, we've done everything, not that we're merely required to do, but we've gone above and beyond and really been diligent about protecting our equipment to protect our customers, employees, whomever it may be. Yeah. Right. Same thing with fire doors.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, fire doors, as far as life safety is concerned, the fire doors have to function. That's a serious issue. So we want to make sure that those are closing, latching, and unlock under the required amount of pressure every single time without fail.
Sure. It's one of the things I've always thought about since I've been in the industry. When you talk about compliance and things of that nature, and having certain standards that have to be met legally, is what happened in the past that brought about that being an industry standard that's required, right? Yeah. And what you never want to do is be the reason why the next thing's required.
Right. You don't want to be the reason why a new piece of equipment has to be invented or something,
Absolutely. Yeah. Or, new code in the spec that needs to be met.
Correct.
Or something like that. So, I think one of the good things is that we do here, and that's important here, is we call it always be learning. Right.
Yep.
You'll hear it in all walks of life, all professionalism or whatever it may be, as continued education. Right. Is staying up to date on what is industry standard, but also what is innovative in the market. Right. And being able to educate our customers on that.
Right. Efficiency.
Because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for efficiency.
Right.
It's one of those things, man, where you talk to people in the industry and people in similar scopes of work, and we're always talking about preventative maintenance. I can promise you one thing, and as you know, there is no financial gain just off of selling preventative maintenance.
No, there's no money in it. That's not why we offer it.
That's not what it's for.
Yeah.
Right. It's not an upsell.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? It's almost begging your customer, like, hey, you just bought this.
Yeah. Take care of it.
Protect your investment.
Yeah.
Like, why would you spend, 20 to 100 grand on a project and then say, yeah, that's it. We're done.
We're done.
I'll let you know when it's broken.
Yeah.
Why are we going to break it?
Yeah.
And I think the thing we have to educate people on too is in the commercial side of things, right? We're selling this to a business. These products are going to be used by employees or customers who don't own it.
Right.
They're not going to.
Not their chair, not their problem.
Correct. They're not going to take care of it like
ownership would. Yeah.
Like ownership.
If I paid for it, it's different.
Right. So create that bubble around your investment.
Yeah.
And take the liability and the questions of safety away. Let the experts be the experts.
Right.
You can change a tire.
Yeah.
You can change your own oil at home.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't rebuild my own engine.
Right.
I'm not a mechanic. You're good with cars, but I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
So I think, especially the challenge on the man door side of things, you look at a standard door, you're like, oh, it's 3070. It's got 3 hinges. I can mess with it.
That. Yeah.
One mistake, and now you need to replace the frame, the door.
Yeah.
Now, and it's just
adjusting fire doors becomes an issue because if you adjust it the wrong way, it doesn't unlatch correctly.
Sure.
That's a problem.
So it's just one of those things where I think it's important to continue to educate ourselves internally, strategize, and really push the importance to our customers about safety and compliance is the number one thing. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's safety, compliance, and then cost of ownership.
Yeah.
So
protecting your investment.
Protecting your investment. Do you have, any other?
So I was going to ask
ones?
you, what are some key points that you look for on overhead doors? Like, what's the main on the garage style loading dock equipment? What are we looking for that needs to be addressed annually or biannually or quarterly?
Sure.
Where are our wear points?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously have like simple things that you're going to look to do to maintain the integrity of the door, the functionality of the door, like lubing a door and everything like that. But you want to check rollers. Yeah. Right? That's a big thing. Springs, obviously, how dangerous springs can be. The spring goes down, now the door's not in use. Yeah. Right. Being very diligent about paying attention to your springs, your rollers, brackets. The big thing too is in these warehouse applications where forklifts are in and out. Right, these doors get abused. Right, these bottom panels for the most part get obliterated, get absolutely destroyed, and then now you're changing out a bottom panel every 3 months or something like that. And when that becomes an occurrence, having preventative maintenance set up where, hey, we have a history of this door. We know that last time we change out, rollers or whatever it may be, this bottom panel, we have a history of this door. It keeps getting damaged, Then we can educate our customer on certain products in the market that can help mitigate them having to constantly change out. Right. So, knockout panels on the bottom panel, something like that. A big one that people take for granted is weather stripping. Yeah. I hate to sound tongue in cheek, but if your door's not sealing properly, you're letting money literally
escape,
blow away.
It's running away. Yeah.
Energy loss is a huge thing. Yeah. I can promise you that every manufacturer of overhead doors or loading docks, they have energy card type products to help mitigate the loss of energy in the building, loss of air. Yeah. And then you have to worry about, food and bev locations with daylight coming in and everything like that.
Specific requirements for those.
Yeah, you can't have any daylight. And I mean, most customers don't even realize, like, what's brush seal going to do? Like, they think, oh, it's brush seal, it's not secure. Well, the point of brush seal is so rodents feel the brush on their whiskers and it
deters them
from progressing forward. So educating our customers and not taking for granted that, hey, maybe they don't even know the smallest thing. Right. So, and treating them as intellectual equal.
Yeah.
Not to, act like you're talking down to them, but to really explain why this product is necessary.
Right.
Back to your point, springs, rollers, bottom brackets, things that are commonly damaged because of improper use or negligence. That's a big thing. And, that's why we stock our warehouse with those common wear items. Our trucks are stocked with those common wear items.
Exactly.
Same thing for you. Same question. What kind of things are you looking for when you go out there?
Same thing. How does the door sit in the opening?
Sure.
Making sure that it's as plumb as it can possibly be. We want to check hinges, make sure that they're not overly worn out, make sure that they're carrying the door correctly, and that they close. Fire doors are required to close and positively latch on their own, so we have to ensure that does it. And there's also a pressure requirement for ADAs. You can only apply. I want to say, I might be mistaken at this point. I've been out of the field for a little bit. I think it's 10 or 15 pounds that it takes to open a door. Maybe it's only 8. It's 8 pounds. I'll get there.
He feels confident in that one. So I feel confident.
We take a spring gauge to these doors to make sure that they're within that range, so that it meets ADA compliance. And it's basically the same thing though. Just these wear items, closers. They wear out. They'll eventually blow out and start to leak. They need to be replaced. Lock sets. Same thing. They wear as they close and latch. Need to be replaced. Hinges, same thing. We're just looking for those main things to keep the door in good working condition, so that you protect your investment. You don't have to worry about replacing the entire thing once it gets to that breaking point.
Sure. Yeah. That was a good point you brought up too about the door sitting plumb in the opening. Right. That's it reminds me of something that I didn't even bring up yet, but on sectional doors and overhead style doors is the doors being out of balance.
Right.
Door is out of balance.
On one side.
I promise you, everything on that door is being worked in a different way, and it's going to wear way faster.
Way faster.
That's one of those things where you're not going to know that.
Yeah.
As long as it goes up and down, and you're not going to hear a complaint from forklift driver 7.
Yeah.
We had a guy performing preventative maintenance yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a guy in the warehouse." He was like, "No, that door's fine. No, that door's fine." And he was like, "Man, the spring was broken on one of the doors. It wasn't fine." But you have to be the expert. Like us as salesmen, we have to be the experts in our field and educate our customers, and we have to instill that confidence in our service technicians when they're out there. Like, hey, you're the expert. Out here, like you're not going to let this guy over here say, "No, that door's fine," and you walk right by it, right?
I'm here to look at it regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's one of those things I tell people all the time, like, hey, you got so much to worry about in this warehouse, man.
Let me worry about your doors.
Let me worry about your doors.
Yeah. I'll take that off your plate.
And I'm going to over-communicate with you, I promise. Me and my team, we're going to over-communicate with you. So I can't stress the importance of preventative maintenance enough, because without constant attention to these expensive materials, right? Every couple of years, you're replacing a whole building's worth.
I don't think a lot of people don't realize how expensive doors, like just the entry door side, the dock side of things is violently expensive. But the man door portion, just regular doors that people walk through every single day, I don't think they realize just how expensive those are and the hardware that goes with them. So when they see a door that's maybe not working correctly or working perfectly, they're just like, no big deal. It's just a man door. We'll worry about it, eventually. And when it eventually breaks and you get hit with a price tag and you're like, oh my goodness, why is it so high? This is what these things cost.
Yeah.
And we could have caught this potentially beforehand and saved you, a few $100s or saved you thousands of dollars versus just a couple $100s for the service call.
Sure. And another thing that makes pop up into my head too is, I've done a lot of, new construction in my life. And, you get, let's say, 20 dock doors in a row. They're all installed at the same time. You kind of want to make sure that these things are wearing similarly. If they're under the same amount of usage,
correct,
they should be wearing similarly.
Correct.
Because I promise you, if one door goes out in June, and we have to come out there, and because it hasn't been paid attention to, and you have to replace that whole door.
The rest of them are coming with
The
it.
rest of them probably are coming with it, but if they're not, let's say now that was June, now August, boom, the other door goes out.
Yeah.
Now you're paying double trip charge.
Yeah.
You're paying lifts again instead
Yeah.
of getting, you want to be able to hit as many as you can on a single trip, or
Right.
else it's, or price breaks that we're going to get from
Yeah.
from our vendors and our manufacturers when
Correct.
we're able to order things in bulk, or not necessarily in bulk, but more than one.
Right. The more we can do at once, the
The
more
better
we
it's
can
going to be average
save.
cost per door for
Correct.
you. And if we're paying attention to that, and we can see hey, this one it hasn't failed yet. This one did fail, but this one's on its way. Let's
Yeah.
do them both.
Let's do them both.
So they wear at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the kind of things you're not going to see Joe Schmo with his tool belt out there
Right.
being able to take care of.
Right.
And I think that, again, that's part of educating our customers.
Correct.
So
I agree.
cool, man. Well, I had a great time sitting in here and doing
Yeah,
this today.
that's cool.
So I appreciate it. And,
Yeah.
that was episode 2 of ASAP Unfiltered. And stick
Look forward
around.
to episode 3.
Yeah. Stay tuned.